Singapore's residential property market continues to be resilient in the pandemic, with prices of private homes and flats rising in recent quarters. But will the trend hold up? Well, it's one of the topics that will be discussed during the Singapore Property Show. The virtual event, which is a tie-up between real estate agencies, property portal 99.co and Mediacorp, returns for a second year. And ahead of that, we will speak to Ismail Gafoor, CEO of PropNex, and Jack Chua, CEO of ERA Singapore. Well, Ismail, let's go to you first. Why are we seeing the market perform as it is at the moment?
Yeah, I think the real estate market has been really resilient, mainly because it has been a very positive sentiment. People are very upbeat about the recovery, even though there's a pandemic. Overall, a lot of us, even as analysts, we were a bit surprised. But on the other hand, Singapore real estate market is really having this very strong positive take-up rate, not only in public housing, but I must say even private property, new launches, and as well as resale market.
Well, Ismail, what kind of homes and which locations have been trending and why?
I think one of the key things here is this. The market has been performing not only on a specific segment. The HDB upgraders have contributed hugely to the mass market units of development. And at the same time, the resale market has also performed very well as we see a delay in the constructions of the BTO flats. More people are turning towards resale flats as well. So in terms of demand, it is not a specific sector that has done well in the last year. In fact, the core central region and as well as the mass market product have performed exceptionally well.
Ismail, do you think there is a risk of a bubble forming and eventually popping?
Yeah, I think this has always been a concern. And I think tomorrow what we are going to do here is this. As part of the Singapore Property Show, myself will be involved in the kickoff event, and we will be highlighting, well, is there a bubble and will there be a pending cooling measures to be announced? And we know buying a property is always a big decision, and therefore having that correct information will be important. And the SPS show will update a lot of these informations, not only myself, some of my other directors, Calvin Fong and Mr. Lim Yong Hock, we will be updating hugely of all the various market segments in the next 2 weekends.
Well, let's go to you, Jack. Jack, the buoyancy has triggered talk of possible cooling measures. What's your take on that?
I suppose that it's not right to speculate about the cooling measure as it will influence the buyer and the investor decision. So what we are seeing is that the government is really monitored greatly in the property market. I mean, you can see that in last year, September, the government have stopped the reissue of auction to buyer. So to ensure that all these wrong practices are rectified. So I trust that the government is watching closely the pace of property prices increase versus the pace of our economic recovery. It is totally out of sync, then the government will react. They will need to monitor the pro and con of any measure if they want to implement it.
Well, Jack, given your expertise, is there a right time to enter the market?
I suppose that it's very difficult to perfectly time the market. I mean, property prices now may look high, but it can be even higher in a few years' time. I mean, take example. Back in second quarter of 2008, at that time, people thought that the prices have reached a crazy record high. But in the following 12 months, in mid-2009, the global financial crisis wiped out 25% of the property price index. And in other words, the property prices had dropped by 25% in a year. But in 12 months after that, that is in mid-2010, the property price index surged 38.2% at a level that even higher, okay, at the record price in mid-2008. Therefore, the right time to enter the market depends on individual. When these three things met, then that will be the right time. First, you have decided you want to buy a property. Second, you have found a property that you like very much. And third, you have the financial means, including the necessary mortgage to buy property. That will be the right time to enter the market.
All right, thank you so much for speaking to us. That was Ismail Gafoor, CEO of PropNex, and Jack Chua, CEO of ERA Singapore. The Singapore Property Show starts tomorrow.